Souken Ishida. As I said many times before, when we try to figure out which character had a deep understanding of Yhwach and could reach the core of how to defeat him, we'll find that there is no one else but Souken Ishida. Sure, Ichigo played a critical role because he did the final blow, and yes, Aizen Sasuke intervened along with many other characters who tried to find a way to defeat this tyrant. However guys, this old man was the one truly capable of doing something. You could say that there was a hidden war between the two mustached men, each one with a different perspective on the world of the Quincy's. One saw it with a dark outlook, while the other believed in the possibility of coexistence in a world that seemed to reject his entire race. So guys, before the final episode of this third part, very little information was available about Souken. What we knew was mostly his perspective on the conflict between the Shinigami and the Quincy's from 200 years ago, and this gave us a broad idea of Souken's philosophy. He could understand both viewpoints, not just because he was a Quincy, but because he always had a broader vision, not limited to a single perspective. However, when the Quincy's arc unfolded, it was revealed that a war took place 1000 years ago, and that Yhwach was the father of all the Quincy's. Many details changed. New questions arose about Souken Ishida, ones I had previously explored in past videos based on certain theories. But now, as episode 40 confirmed, we face in facts instead of speculation. That's why guys, in this video, I'll try to delve deeper again in Souken's words and the scene involving Kategori in Uryu, as well as how this moment will impact the final battle against Yhwach. And so guys, I'll try to begin by analyzing everything Souken said. The first key point he made was his absolute conviction that Yhwach is not the savior of the Quincy's. He referred to Yhwach as the Emperor, emphasizing his authority over the Quincy's, and yet strangely, Souken never said anything suggesting that Yhwach was the father of all the Quincy's or that they originated from him. He only called him the Emperor. Now I'm not saying that Souken was denying Yhwach's role as the Quincy's origin, but it's possible that Souken had a deeper understanding of the origins of the Quincy's that goes beyond the mystery of Yhwach's birth 1200 years ago, which was mentioned in the flashback of Busby and Ashford. In returning to Souken's main point guys, he immediately made it clear that no matter the justifications or excuses Yhwach presented, they ultimately didn't prove him to be the true savior of the Quincy's. And furthermore guys, Souken went on to highlight another fact. Yhwach's defeat by Yamamoto's Bankai 1000 years ago had a massive impact, to the point where he needed significant time to regain his power. He even used the Auswehren technique on mixed blood Quincy's to heal the wounds from that battle. And this guys, a mystery surrounding Yhwach's defeat against Yamamoto, especially how he was transported to a place where he remained sealed for centuries. Another important point Souken raised was his belief that Yhwach would never forgive the world for abandoning the Quincy's. And this clearly indicates that Souken understood the motivation behind Yhwach's actions. He knew that once Yhwach returned, his goal would be to bring an end to this loathsome world. And this further emphasizes how deeply he understood the entire conflict. Souken knew that Ryu, the Soul King, had forsaken the Quincy's when he mentioned the word that abandoned the Quincy's. He was almost certainly referring to Ryu, especially since Souken had already written Ryu's true name, Adonaios, in his notes. And again, Souken also saw the word as loathsome, especially from the Quincy's perspective. And as Urara Kiski also said, the Quincy's faced two near extinctions simply because their existence clashed with the system. Therefore guys, there is no doubt that Souken Ishida, as a person, has extensive knowledge about his Quincy race. He understands the true conflict, and we could say how Yhwach thinks and why he has this desire. However, at the same time, Souken seems to believe that Yhwach's approach to changing things is incorrect, especially when it comes to taking others' powers and killing them. The sorrow and pain caused by such actions are evident. If we go back to the flashback, we can see how Soken's words reflect in the scenes where he stood, watching his grandson in front of Kategori's grave, and the grief caused by her death. Not to mention that many other families destroyed by Yhwach's actions, such as Ichigo's mother Masaki, and how her death affected the rest of her family. And from this guys, it is evident that Souken Ishida opposed the idea of sacrificing the Quincy's lives for Yhwach's plans, regardless of the justifications he presented, whether logical or from Yhwach's perspective as a personal gain in his conflict with his father and the Shinigamis. Souken saw all of this as unjustifiable to take Quincy lives. Now guys, I want to mention another clue Souken brought up, which I have talked about in past videos. The idea of the existence of the Quincy's in the real world, meaning those living in the human world. When Souken spoke about the need to stop Yhwach, he didn't refer to all the Quincy's, but specifically mentioned those living in the human world. And this highlights the thing that I have talked about in the past, that the Quincy's are two groups. Those who sided with Yhwach and live in the Wanderreich, who actively participated in the war and followed his plans, and another faction opposed him. And this divide was evident in the flashback of Busby and Hatchfield, where not all the Quincy's supported Yhwach. There was a resistance against him, and more than that, Yhwach took that war in the human world, before his first battle against Yamamoto in the Soul Society. Therefore guys, it can be said that from that opposing faction emerged the Ishida family, from which Souken Ishida originates. Of course, we still don't know exactly when Souken Ishida was in the Wanderreich, because as you know, as Ryuken Ishin mentioned, Souken was inside the Wanderreich before being expelled, and this reveals Souken's value guys. He knows the secrets of everything, and that's what's led him to develop the theory that if the silver formed from the Ausweren ritual mixed with the blood of the one who performed it, it could cancel out all their abilities for a moment in time. And it's still unclear how Souken discovered this, although his notes included sketches of a human body, suggesting that he might have conducted autopsies or examinations that led him to this conclusion. However guys, it seems that Ryuken, Souken's son, took his findings and applied them by extracting the silver from his wife's Kategori's body. From that flashback shown, it became evident why Ryuken stated in the manga that Uryu was the only one capable of using that special arrow. Simply, the arrow was made from the silver that was in his mother's heart, because as we have seen guys, it seems that Uryu's mother had the ability to resist the Ausweren, and since the silver came from her heart, her son was the only one who could wield it, due to sharing her bloodline. So the way that arrow was created and how it became a weapon capable of defeating Yhwach all started with Souken Ishida. His deep understanding of Yhwach led him to think of this solution. But in the end guys, I hope the anime clarifies why Ryuken never told Uryu from the start that he was the one capable of using the arrow and stopping Yhwach's abilities. Instead, he let Uryu go to Yhwach, risking the possibility of losing that chance if Uryu faced any danger. Or perhaps Ryuken was confident that Uryu would be fine, waiting for the right moment to give him that arrow to finish Yhwach off. In the end guys, what do you think about Souken Ishida, and can we see more flashbacks about him? Tell me guys your opinions in the comments, and see you guys in my next video.